So yeah, Baki's is such a nice guy, and so he's one of the guys that I do know.
오늘은 올림피아에서 굉장히 인상 깊게 직관한 저스틴 배드리나 선수와의 화상 줌 인터뷰를 진행했습니다. 국내에서 그의 올림피아 영상이 바이럴되면서 시범을 닮은 체형이라 극찬을 받은 선수인데요. 올림피아 데뷔전이었던 지난해 14위를 기록했습니다. 넓은 어깨 프레임과 큰 키, 가는 허리에 백큐 포즈까지 보이는 선수이며 컨디셔닝의 완성도도 뛰어납니다. 올림피아에선 박재훈 선수와 같은 세컨드 콜아웃에서 경쟁했습니다. 올림피아 직후엔 허리케인 프로쇼에서 2026년 올림피아 출전권을 미리 따낸 영리한 선수입니다. IFBB 프로 저스틴 배드리나를 낱낱이 파헤치는 인터뷰 함께 감상하시죠.
First, thank you for the interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for taking the time and reaching out and getting on the calendar.
So, I prepared a few questions and I collected the subscribers' question as well. So, I start with my questions. So,
Awesome.
14th place at 2024 Olympia debut. Is that your debut, right?
For the Olympia, yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. Which is a very incredible job. And would you introduce yourself to South Korean bodybuilding fan?
Yeah, I'd love to. Hi, South Korea. It's great to get in front of you all. Thanks for TFE Media and Phil for having me. My name's Justin Baderina. I've been competing for about it's 2025 now. I did my first show in 2016. So
Wow.
in October of 2016, like my very first show. So it'll be 9 years of competing for me in this October of 2025. I got my pro card in 2019 here in New Jersey. Actually, there's a pro qualifier here in New Jersey called Universe that I did in 2019 to get my pro card. And then it took me up until 2024 to get my Olympia qualification and my first pro win. So I'm not young, but I'm 28 years old. I'll be 29 next month. So I turned pro on the younger side for a lot of people, from what a lot of people would say. I was 23 when I turned pro. And I was able to win Tampa last year to qualify for the Olympia. And that's just, a little bit of my journey has had a lot of ups and downs and other things happen. But the general scheme of my bodybuilding journey has been that.
That means that you start the bodybuilding when you're a teenager, right?
Yeah, I was not when I was a teenager, but in theory, yeah. I guess a young adult. I think I was 19. I technically was 19 when I did my first show, or 20. I was 20, I think, when I did my first show. I think I was 19 or 20, so around there.
So what's your height and weight class? Weight limit?
Yeah, Yep. So I heighted in at 5'11 and a half. So that, and now what it's really cool because now for the IFBB, whatever your height is, I think at your last 3 shows or at your Olympia is your set height because depending on the time of the day and whatnot, you might height in a little different, you might weigh a little bit different. So I'd float, my morning weight is 5'11 and a half, but I could dip down to just about 5'11. And if you're 5'11, I would have to be 219. There's no way I'm going to make 219. So my weight cap for being 5'11 and a half. So technically the cap is if you're over 5'11 and 6 foot and under. So it's between 6 foot and just over 5'11. It's 227 pounds. So I can be 103 kilograms or 227. That's my cap.
You seem like you're very satisfied with the result at the Olympia.
Yeah, because for sure. Because usually the check-ins for shows are later in the day, so I have to really stay off my feet. I have to stay stretched out to try to to make sure I'm over 5'11 because my morning height is 5'11 and a half. But like I said, for Tampa, I heighted in just over 5'11. So if I was 5'11, I would have had to come down to 219, and there was no way because I'm at weigh-ins. I'm about 225 to 227, so I'm kind of right there. I can definitely get bigger and get more condition moving forward, so that's not going to be a problem, and I could definitely suffer more to make my weight. However, to get to 219, I'd be sacrificing too much muscle, and I don't feel like it would be a good look for me.
Okay, so when you start the bodybuilding, who do you admire the most in bodybuilding? Yeah, so in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, so when I first got started, I played ice hockey. So I was playing a different sport at the time, and I ended up stopping playing hockey. And during the in-between stage for me, I was really attracted to like Dorian Yates, Jay Cutler, Tom Platz. Like I was watching YouTube, and I got like a lot of their YouTube stuff that would come up, and I started watching them, and I'm like, this is what I want to do. So they've been my motivation in terms of like work ethic, bodybuilding, hardcore, intensity, perseverance. So those are the guys that I look up to and admire from a physique standpoint, but also a mentality standpoint.
Are those guys affecting the training standard, training point?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. You know, I take a little bit from all of them. You know what I mean? Like a good example is a lot of people don't back squat anymore. They love to do the hack squats and different machine squats. They think it's safer, it's better for the quads. I don't necessarily agree. I have done machine squats, but like there's nothing like a good barbell back squat if you're good at it. And you know, I got that from Tom. Like Tom loves back squats, and that's what made his quads. And I have really good legs, and I'd contribute like heavy squatting to that. Back training, I look up to Dorian in terms of like the low volume approach and intensity in a set, but maybe not the exact movements, because I've done the exact movements that he's done and I didn't feel them as good. So I had to kind of figure out things that worked for me. And then with Jay Cutler, I learned, okay, there's certain body parts that I do need a little bit more volume with, like my arms and with my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And like I noticed for them and a little bit of my lats that they could handle more sets in the gym. You know what I mean? Than maybe my legs. Like for legs, I pretty much do one leg day a week, and I only do like 5 sets for quads a week. And you know what I mean?
Wow.
That's all I do. I don't do a lot of quad work because my quads are really, really good, and they grow from not a lot of volume. You know what I mean? So I've learned from them, and I've tailored it into my own, you know, amongst my career so far. And I'm still learning. I think we all should still learn. No one's perfect. Even Bumstead, even, you know, Hadi and, you know, Derek and Samson, we're all learning how to get better. We can all continue to learn. Even if you are the best in the world, you can still get better than your previous year, in my opinion.
So second call out at your Olympia debut, did you expect it, or are you totally satisfied with your result?
So my goal going into it was top 15. With like a stretch goal of being top 10 at my first Olympia. Like it would have been really cool to break into the first call out or top 10. But I'm really satisfied because going into it, I said, this is going to be one of the most stacked lineups.
Yeah.
And if I can break into a top 15, I'm technically one of the top 15 classic people in the world. So I was like, that's a really cool accomplishment, you know. And after winning Tampa last year, you know, I was on cloud 9. I think I needed to win Tampa more than I needed to make it to the Olympia from like a mental standpoint. Like I think winning Tampa was more memorable than my first time on stage at the Olympia. It had more of an impact on me, and it made me feel like, okay, like I'm meant to do this, you know, because up until that point, I had a lot of self-doubt. Like, am I good enough? Am I ever going to win a show? Am I ever going to make it to the Olympia? I've been working really hard, and it's just not working out. And Tampa really, you know, helped me. And then obviously, you know, I won a show right after the Olympia. So I'm already qualified for this year's Olympia. So going into this year's Olympia, you know, this might be a question that you might ask, but like my goal is to break into a first call out with a stretch goal, like top 5. I know it's going to be a hard lineup. These guys are improving. But I am too, and I'm coming off of a health phase here where I took 2 months of chilling out, and I've maintained a really, really, really good physique for not doing anything. And I'm excited for what prep has to hold. So this year, I definitely want to break into a first call out. I want to be like top 8 this year. I'm going to work my ass off for that.
Did you get any feedback from the judges?
Yes. Yeah, and the feedback has been very similar throughout my pro career, which is just continue to improve my back and continue to improve my back thickness. I'm very wide. I have a very wide back, and a lot of people are impressed by it. However, it doesn't look as good because it's super wide, but it's a little bit shallow, and I just need to get a little bit thicker. And I think that comes with time too. Again, I'm in theory a younger guy in my competitive and like lifting career. I'd say I'm under 30 years old, so I think I'm still on the younger end of it, so I have time for that. However, the back thickness and like a little bit more arm density is what I've been told are the two main focus points for me. And I can say that my back has made really, really, really good improvements this past off season. Actually, finding out what works for me. So I'm really happy and I'm impressed. I'm looking forward to showcasing, the changes that I made to my back.
Okay, from now I'm gonna mix the subscribers questions a bit. So here is the question from them. Yeah, do you know any South Korean bodybuilders?
Yes, maybe. Is Is Baki? What's Baki's name?
Baki, yeah, his name is Bang Ji-hoon, and he plays sixth at the Arnold Classic.
Yep. Yeah, him and I, he's from South Korea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know him because we actually at the Olympia for the check-ins.
Yeah.
I was number 7 and he was number 8. So
yeah.
So him and I actually, here's a funny story, and he'll know this. Our backs were hurting because when you're doing the check-in for the Olympia, they go number order. You have to do your height, your weight, and then you have to turn in your music. And then there was 100 posters. I guess there were VIP posters that they were giving out to VIP fans or something like that. So we had to be bent over and we had to sign. And we did it in groups
autograph.
We did it in groups of 2. So we would sign 25 posters. Take a second. They'd put 25 more in front of us, and by the end of it, him and I were laughing because we're like, our backs are in so much pain right now from bending over, signing everything. So yeah, Baki's is such a nice guy, and so he's one of the guys that I do know.
He looks much better at the Arnold, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be a lot better than the last year's Olympia.
Yeah, he looked phenomenal. I'm looking forward to seeing how he did. When I saw him at the Arnold stage, I was very, very impressed. And he's got a great physique. I know he probably I don't know. He probably needs to qualify still. I don't know if he did a show already to qualify or he won a show.
He need to qualify, yeah.
I know okay, yeah, which you know what? He'll have no problem. If he was able to last year, he's a great physique. He should be able to nip that in the butt soon here,
So you know what? Before I post your pictures and videos, and your Olympia video is viral in South Korea, and a lot of people think that your physique similar to Cbum.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you to South Korea and the fans for thinking that. That's an honor because obviously, I think we all can respect and admire Chris. He is such a tremendous athlete, a tremendous person. He's really nice. He's a good representation of the sport. And his physique obviously was the best in the world for 6 years. And I do think that we have some similarities in our physique, and we have also some similar flaws too. I know, his back and arms were an area where he was criticized for heavily, before really figuring them out. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at, where I made my mark. People know who I am. I have the physique. They say, okay, still back and arms. And I think this year and into next year, you're going to start to see those big changes for me that he had made for him. And you're going to see me, honestly, my goal is to climb up the ranks. I'm going to put it out there. I'd love to, I know winning the Olympia this year might be a tall challenge, but my goal is to get into the first call out this year, and then I'd like to give it a run for it next year. I think in 2026, with another year, I can make the improvements needed where I'm fighting for that top spot.
So here is my question: Pittsburgh Pro predictions, Men's Open and Classic. Do you have any prediction of your own?
Can I just do my top 3?
Yeah.
Because I don't know the whole lineup, so I'll give you my top 3 because obviously the top 3 is the most talked about anyway.
Top 3 in order.
I'll start with open.
Yep.
I think that I really like Nick Walker. Nick and I are pretty good friends, and he's from New Jersey as well. So he's from the same state as me, and actually, his family still lives close to where I live. He doesn't live here anymore, obviously, but I think that Derek will win. I do. I think that Nick is going to play second. I think that Nick has made some tremendous improvements where I just think that if him and his coach can kind of nail that condition while keeping him full and big, it's going to be a freaky look. It's going to be freaky. And I think that Martin is going to place third. I really would like to put Martin higher, but I just think that Nick made a tremendous amount of improvements. And based off their last time competing, Nick did beat Martin narrowly, but Nick was way off and Martin was on. So I think that you're going to see Derek winning, Nick in second, Martin in third, and then I think Nick will go to New York and win New York to qualify for the Olympia. And then for Classic is tough. So Classic is tough because I don't know how to pronounce I think his name's Kayeki. Kayeki, he's the Brazil guy who looks just
the men's physique to Classic, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The guy, yeah.
I think that he's going to be in that mix too, but I do think that I'm really torn in Classic between Jose and between Terrence because I feel like Terrence made a lot of improvements, especially to the upper body, but I do still feel like from the back, he's not as strong as he needs to be to get into like the top 3 at the Olympia. That's my humble opinion. I think that his backside compared to some of the other backsides, and that's just going off the backside. So like that's just one pose. So that doesn't mean he can't break into it. It's just if I compare his backside to Jose's, Jose has a freaky posterior.
Yeah.
chain. Jose is nutty from the rear. His back is huge. His hamstrings are dug out. He's not the biggest in terms of his legs, but he's freaky, and he placed 6th last year. So, like, if we're going off of track record, you'd almost have to say Jose is probably going to take it. But Terrence has such a beautiful look, especially from the front and from the side, where I think that, like, it's going to be between Jose and Terrence for 1 and 2, and then I think Kayeki's going to get third. So that's kind of like where I have that.
The crazy thing is in terms of men's open, people underestimate Nick Walker because he missed the previous two Olympias.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but he looks still good.
Yes,
I totally agree with
exactly.
that. Yeah.
1,000%. I agree with you 1,000%. And I think that the first Olympia he missed was because he had that injury, right? He injured his hamstring. I think last Olympia might not have even really been his fault. I know that there was some coaching situation, he was working with Matt Jansen. I know there was some things going around with Matt and his other athletes, and like Matt was, not maybe the best coach in the last little bit for a lot of them. And I think that maybe that's why Nick didn't end up competing and be his best, because Nick will follow the plan to the T. Nick doesn't cheat on his diet. Nick is a bodybuilder. He loves this. He'll do anything he's got to do. So I think he was just following someone who wasn't doing everything he needed to do for the athlete. You know what I mean? So I don't even think last year was Nick's fault when he missed it. I think it was the coaching issue. And I think that this year Nick's going to bring something that's way different.
So now I'm going to question you about the subscriber questions. First is, what do you think about upper lower split? It means like,
I think it's I think it's good for someone. I don't know if I'd say it's really good for like progressing in bodybuilding that well. I know that there's some pros that like advocate for it. Like I'm a big fan of Trained by JP, Jordan Peters, big guy in the UK. He's got a very good channel and whatnot, and he's huge. And he likes the upper lower. I just personally feel like I need to be a bit more focused in on the group that I'm training. So like the most I'd be able to pair something up for like me personally would be like a push-pull legs. I would have to split up upper body to do like the back side of the upper and then the front side of the upper, in my opinion. That's for me, but it can work for people. And I guess if you structure it properly, it can be a really good routine. Like if you were to do like 3 upper sessions a week and 2 lowers, I could see it being being pretty good, but I wouldn't do an upper lower for me personally.
Your training form is quite interesting. I noticed that you squeeze your muscle at the contraction part, like pause. Please share the theory behind those action. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of people ask me that, and I think it's a good question. I'm very smart. I'm educated. I have my degree in exercise. It's not really proof or science. However, I feel better when I hold the contraction and I squeeze the muscle hard. And it depends on the muscle. However, when we're on stage, we're squeezing a muscle to contract.
Yeah.
So if I'm going into my front double, I'm doing a bicep curl to squeeze my bicep, right? In a sense. So I do think that there is something to be said behind like holding a squeeze or holding a contraction. I think that it can help with your ability to connect with the muscle. And I had a tougher time connecting with muscles like as I was coming up. So like that's helped me. But also I do think that holding the end ranges is really good and safe. And what it does is it makes you not be able to lift as heavy, but put a lot more strain on the muscle. Like a good example, and a lot of people know me for my hamstring development, my hamstring drop.
Yeah,
right?
your
A
hamstring
really
is
good
great.
hamstring
Yeah.
drop. That's something that I'm known for. And if you look at how I train hamstrings, I squeeze the shit out of my seated leg curl. Like it's a hard contraction, I hold it. And then I'm very slow to feel the stretch back up. And I think that has helped me develop my muscle because I mean the proof is in the pudding. I don't have the science to back it. I didn't look at the studies, anything, but just my practical and hands-on experience shows me that okay, when I've squeezed certain body parts and hold it, it's helped me. But I don't do it for everything. I do it for a lot of things, but not everything.
Do you believe you can win the Olympia one day?
Yes. Yes. I do. I do because I just believe in like how hard I can work. You know what I mean? I have a tough time with like my confidence, but like I know that I'm a really hard worker and that I've developed a really cool physique. And I think that I have some cool features that's only going to continue to get better and impress more and more people. And, to place 14th at my first Olympia, I know there are a couple people who did debuts at the Olympia that placed higher than me. I think like 3 or 4 guys, and they're all tremendous. And I think that all of us have potential to work our way up, but I do believe in myself and my ability. And I think that my structure, what I'm born with, is a little bit different than everyone else. Like I think that my very small waist for my vacuum is something that not a lot of the other competitors have. And when I continue to grow in the right spots, I think that my structure is going to be superior on top of the added muscle and my condition and my symmetry.
So next question is, do you have any plan to compete in this year's other than the Olympia?
So I'm laughing because you will see me at some point this year other than the Olympia. I just don't know when yet. I have an idea, but I'm just waiting to kind of get confirmation on the schedule and see where I want to, play my cards.
We just still can before the Olympia, after the Olympia, can you still say about that?
Before the Olympia.
Wow, okay. That's enough.
The goal would be I would like to do something before the Olympia, to get my body primed, peaked, and ready to rock and roll, and then come into Olympia and showcase like something crazy. So the way that I view it is Samson did a show 2 weeks before the Olympia when he ended up winning the Olympia. So who's to say, same can't happen. So the show that I do this year before the Olympia would qualify me early for 2026. So the plan would be to get that early qualification just to have it. However, I do have some big plans for 2026 competition season. I just would like to lock in an early qualification just to have it. But I do plan on, I'll put it out there, I would like to apply for the Arnold I think
Wow.
that I would do very well on the Arnold stage in 2026. So I really want to win a show before the Olympia this year. I would like to go to the Olympia, get into the first call out, and then I'd like to go to the Arnold next year and do some damage there.
Seems like anything can happen in Arnold Classics. It's a lot of happening here.
Yeah, ups and downs, right? Like we didn't
Yeah.
when Wesley beat Ramon, we were like, holy cow. And then when Wesley dropped all the way down to 5th this year, and then Derek beat Samson at the Arnold, like you're right, anything can happen. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. Like you just have to. My wife always says, like, every weekend is a different weekend, and you could have beat someone last weekend who beat you this weekend. It just comes down to the peak. It comes down to the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Next question is alcohol and cigarette in bodybuilding. Is it okay to as a bodybuilder?
So I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't think they're like listen, alcohol and cigarettes are not good for you. Like any steroids are not good for you. Like all this is not good for you, right? What I will say is, like, I personally don't smoke cigarettes. I find them to be not the best. And then I'll have some alcohol in my off seasons, like if I'm enjoying, like I got married about a month ago. So like at my wedding, I drank alcohol, right? Like I enjoyed it. I'm in the off season. I'm not in prep. When you're in prep, there's no place for anything other than your diet and your training and your cardio and what that entails. In the off season, if you have a night of drinking here and there, that's okay. But you definitely don't want to make it a recurring thing. I probably drink like 3 to 4 times a year in the off season, max. Like it's not much, you know what I mean? Like it's not much. If you go on vacation, go enjoy, but there's no place. There's not really a big place for it, in my opinion.
Right. Next question. So, nutrition tips for us who's been trying to get a IFBB Pro card. Any nutrition tips?
Oh, I mean, if you're trying to get a pro card and you need some nutrition tips, I'd say like hire a coach, just because like a coach is going to be someone who is able to write up a meal plan for you, is going to be able to look at your physique and understand what you need, is going to figure out your calorie requirements, whether you're cutting, whether you're bulking. I definitely advise anyone to get a coach if they're looking to get a pro card and they're looking to kind of better understand nutrition. Like you can coach yourself, but I've never coached myself. I've been with the same coach for 8.5 years, which is a long time to be with one coach. But like we have a good foundation down. We work together incredibly well. He knows my body. He's gotten me from nothing, right? A beginner doing my first show to being the 14th best classic guy in the world. So
wow.
I think that if you're looking for nutrition advice, you should hire a coach and hire someone that has the knowledge.
Last questions. I've been seeing you doing personal training and online coaching. So what's the most important of being personal trainer or bodybuilding coach?
I think that there's a few things, right? But I think that one of the more important things is honesty. I think that like some coaches are scared to confront their clients, maybe because like, let's say you're a client of mine and I know you're not following my diet plan. We need to have an uncomfortable conversation. I might need to say, hey, Phil, listen, man, you're gaining weight. I know you're probably not following my diet. Like you need to turn this around. You need to stop lying. We need to be truthful. Like you need to be honest and have the hard conversations, because at the end of the day, your client won't get the results needed if they're not following it, no matter how good your plan is. So what I've noticed is honesty and transparency is really, really important, because like it like all coaches have good plans, like whether the subscribers here want to hire me to coach them or hire someone else or hire this person, we're all similar. We all have knowledge. We all are going to do the same thing. But do you have a coach that's going to let you kind of slide with things, or do you have a coach that's going to be hard on you and say, yo, man, remember why you hired me? This is your goal. So I think that honesty and being on top of the client is really, really important. I think that you need to be transparent, and obviously you need to have a good program and a good diet for them, and you need to set them up for success. You know what I mean? However, I think that, for me, and sorry if you hear my dogs,
Yes, okay.
Can you hear them?
Yeah,
But that's kind of what I would say is I think my wife's getting home. That's why they get excited when they hear her come. I apologize about that.
Yeah.
You guys will have to hang in there for 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah.
Guys, stop. Okay. All right. I think we're okay for now. Come here now. Sorry, they're excited. But yeah, I think that that's going to be the most important thing. If you hire me, you should want me to be on top of you. You shouldn't want me to let you slide, let you cheat on your diet, let you miss cardio, let you have excuses. So like what I try to do is be on top of my clients because I want success for them. And I'm not there to feed you every grain of rice. I'm not there to put you on the cardio equipment. You have to hold yourself accountable, but it's up to us to push you to that point and to be honest with you about what it takes.
So last words for South Korean bodybuilding fan?
Yeah. Thank you, Phil, and thank you, South Korea, for watching and for the time and for like the interest in my physique and what I'm doing. It means a lot to me that you guys respect my physique and what I'm doing on the Olympia stage. It's an honor to hear about. It's really cool what social media does, right? Because like without you reaching out, I would not know that there's some South Korean supporters of mine, and that really is cool, and that means a lot to me. Like we're so set in our day-to-day here, wherever we are, that we don't think about many other places because we're so busy and there's so much going on. But it's cool to reflect and understand that like we have a reach that is greater than just here. So it's an honor to to get in front of your subscribers and followers to kind of share my story and a little bit about me. So I want to thank you for that, and thank all the subscribers for following my journey. And if anyone talk about the coaching thing, I love coaching people from all over. So if anyone's interested in coaching, that is something that I do full time, that I want to push and want to take these athletes to the highest level on top of me and my own personal journey of getting to the, to be Mr. Olympia. So I'm here to help, happy to help. And again, it's just an honor. And I want to say thank you.
Thanks for the interview, Justin, Bédrina. I hope see you at the Olympia. Definitely we will see you at the Olympia. Yeah.
Yes. You're going to be there?
Yeah. As a media. Yeah.
You have to come at some point and find me and grab me wherever I am. Come say hi, grab a picture. Come say what's up.
See you there, champ. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you, boss. Thank you.
Thank you.